just fine. But now my computer's being slow, and this is obviously happening.
Like Southern Rail, you're running behind.
I felt a bit of a bitter sting on that one.
Shout out to Southern Rail.
Fuck Southern Rail.
How
Is
shit they are.
it Southern Rail or Southwestern Rail?
Southern.
Right, I was going to say, because Southwestern Rail runs like clockwork if that clock was very slow.
Well, I just think
If it was Salvador Dali's clock,
Yeah.
I think Southern's Rail is just their clock is just broken.
That's fair. Anyway, let us begin. Last session, gentlemen, welcome back. Last session, you had just defeated Arctithorn, the Everfrost, an ancient white dragon that had besieged the city of Dawnport, along with a group of cultists of the Black Prophet. You began the session by scaling the white scales off the dragon, and your new companion Kaiman had a visit from his god, who you later learned to be called Seku. Seku gave him a challenge of creating armor from these white scales, which Kaiman took to immediately. You then headed back to the villagers in the city and discussed with them some matters of importance now that they were free. Gylndan spoke with some about a divination wizard and how he gave one of the smarter cultists a few old pieces of information to look through. And he stored within these within a lockbox, which he took. Felix spoke to some halflings on the fate of his partner, and one halfling said he did see her get taken along with her children, or your children. From here, you headed to Arctithorn's lair, where you were visited by Rash'ak in an illusion made from another of these crystalline orbs. He seemed to dare you to come to him, for by the time that you made it to him, his plans may be nearly complete and gain new vision, whatever that means. As Rash'ak's illusion faded, you found many items: a sword, a set of armor, a cloak, a staff, and a rod, all of which do many different things. Heading back to the village, you find the crew of the Vengeance and the Dragon's Revenge helping the halflings of Dawnport along. Some discussion was had as to what share of the gold the crew might have and the people of Dawnport might have. And as the evening drew in and the snow began to melt, as it had with Arctithorn's presence in here, it had become a wintry landscape. As it was now melting, you all prepared to get on the ship and head off to Silverhold to meet the dreaded Black Dragon that eagerly awaits your arrival. So the crew are now gathering things into the ship. The ship is sort of like docked at this small, actually it's quite a large sort of port next to the thing. It's a very sort of unassuming type port with these long sort of jetties. Obviously, you're told by the halflings in its heyday, there'd be lots of market stores and different things, and there's this large open sort of wooden platform for this large sort of marketplace and selling of things. And there are a couple of sort of more permanent wooden ones, but most of them are either destroyed or not there anymore. The people of Dawnport have given you a few provisions, just like maybe 2 or 3 days worth of food, which is what these sort of cultists kept for themselves. They think they'll be fine. They have enough things to get by just them, and they basically say if they all put their backs together, if they all put their heads together, they can come up with some stuff. And so, yeah, your men are just gathering certain bits and getting them on the ship, sort of doing head counts, making sure everyone's getting there. The sun is now setting. It's sort of around sort of 7, 8 o'clock. The sun is beginning to set, I'll say. You can see just that slight hue of orange begin to appear in the air. What would you all like to do?
Long rest, please. Did we make a decision about where we go? Are we just sleeping on the boat and heading towards the Silverhold?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we made the decision, travel with all haste.
Okay.
While this loading up is going on, could I run back, possibly secretively, to the court, the dragon?
Okay. Like, as in you don't want anyone to know that you've gone there?
Preferably, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Roll me a stealth check. This will be against the perception of everyone in the party, as well as some of the halflings. I'll give them a base sort of perception check.
Yep, sure. Sorry, say stealth, yeah? Stealth check.
A stealth check.
Ah, very good.
Yeah, so Oramis very sort of like everyone's sort of getting things on, and he very sort of inconspicuously
Excuse me?
just like sidestepping.
Yeah, that was interesting. They're very horny, these halflings.
Wait, what did I say?
Everyone's getting things on.
Everyone's getting things on the ship, and the halflings are sort of settling
Let's
down.
get it on.
They're basically putting things ready in the inn. Everyone's going to be sleeping in the inn for like the next day or so, just while they get all the houses and things fixed up. And Oramis, you sort of like try and sort of stealth past, but you're doing it so, like you're trying way too hard to be stealthy, as you're trying to maneuver through these places. But you all see Oramis just maneuvering off to the other side of the of Dawnport.
You didn't
heading
see
along his
anything.
way. One of the halflings does sort of stop and look your way. You're right there, Captain. Anything the matter?
Could I pull my jacket over my head and run off? Punch it.
Yeah.
Do you want to hiss at him as well?
No,
Why?
no hiss.
Why do half elves always go? Why are they always so extra? He walks off. But are any of the party doing anything? Very obviously, seeing Oramis run off towards the dragon. Towards the dragon, towards the body of the white dragon. That'd be on the other side of the city. So if you guys are all helping get things ready on the ship, he's basically, to you, it all looks like he's walking back into the city. But really, it's really like he's up to something. Or like he's
moving in a shifty
with
manner.
purpose.
Yeah, I'm not up to anything.
No, I'm not particularly bothered with what Aramis is up to.
No, I'm sure.
I assume
whatever
it's nefarious and selfish related in order for him to try and get some more gold out of something or other.
Is how dare you? It is not gold related.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aramis, you make it to the other side of the city, like the other gates of the city, when suddenly, out from just like around the corner, you suddenly see Mazzy just like, what are you doing?
Oh, what's Mazzy doing? He's such a prick. He always ruins everything.
Did you say that out loud?
Yeah.
Say that to Mazzy.
Yeah, it's like, you always ruin everything.
My pain in the ass.
I'm just there are potential cultists out there that might come back. I'm just making, and you looked all, Oramis.
No,
I'm just making sure that you don't.
No, I appreciate it. I was actually going to look for some cultists myself. I was just going to make sure that there's none that could harm these poor folks in the city once we're gone. I was just doing a little sweep of the area.
Make a deception check.
Okay.
Can he have disadvantage for that acting?
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Oh, what I'd give to
Mazzy just sort of looks at you as like,
Do you want Mazzy to roll an insight check?
Yeah. Go on.
Please.
I don't think he can beat a 22, but
He can.
Please
He's got a
roll
+3.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, it wasn't bad for Mazzy.
Ah,
That's pretty good.
Mazzy,
That's pretty good.
Mazzy looks at you for a second, Aramis, and just goes, sometimes I underestimate you, Aramis. Not a bad idea. I'll check around this way. If you just check down the road, I'll clear the forest out. I'll meet you back at the ship in like half an hour.
Perfect.
And Mazzy sort of walks off into the forest briefly.
Genuinely perfect, Mazzy. Good lad.
Can you imagine if you sent Mazzy to his death?
He actually finds the cultists and gets murdered.
Oramis was right.
Yeah, so you head off and you manage to get to the corpse of the dragon. It's still there.
Can I carve out an eye?
Yeah, sure, of course, yeah. Just make me. I'll say, just make me. And what are you trying to carve it out with?
Something sharp, preferably.
What on you do you have that is sharp? I'll say
Your
make me
wrist.
just.
I've got a dagger.
Just
I've got a dagger. I've got my shadow blade. I've got a stake. I've got vicious mockery, sharp humor. Sharp,
all right, then make me a. I'm going to say either a medicine or a nature check to try and get the eye out without essentially popping it. Or
those are probably two of the least likely things I was hoping for you to ask for. Oh, it does. He's on fire.
Yeah, yeah. No, you very easily with your dagger or hidden blade or something manage to just get it underneath, cut the sort of like the cord at the back of the eye, and then just sort of there's this horrible just as it just pops out of the socket, and you have in your hands a very big eye. It's like literally like the size of like a
dragon eye.
Yeah, dragon eye. It's sort of like this big, like a small football sort of thing.
That is bigger than I was hoping for.
You're gonna wear it as a necklace.
That's a lot bigger than I thought.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Like bear in mind this thing was gargantuan. This thing was massive. So you holding its eye, it's like this. It's like nearly the size of your head.
Cool.
You're looking for a replacement?
No, I've got a pretty solid replacement.
Yeah, so you just head back to the boat. You'll watch as Oramis comes back to the boat, now holding this big, gooey, bloody, like whitey blue eye that's sort of glazed over now.
Oh no, they don't see me carrying this.
Okay.
I didn't even realise Oramis had left. He snuck away so subtly.
Are you trying to stealth back onto the boat, or are you trying to hide it on your person?
Both.
Okay, so make me one regular stealth check and one stealth check with advantage. The regular stealth check is getting back to the boat without being seen. The stealth check with advantage is because you were a smuggler after all. So that's just concealing it on your person.
Oh no.
So yeah, none of you see Oramis get back.
None of us see Oramis carrying an eye through the streets over his head, apparently.
You all
like you managed to take a couple of back streets, sort of hide behind a couple of the crew and things like that.
I imagine this is Oramis walking the whole time with it at like arm's length, going. Bleh.
Yeah, just like holding his coat slightly off, but almost like he's always got like a reason for it to be slightly off. And yeah, he does have a little bit of a weird look on his face, and he's always sort of staying behind enough people so you can't quite see the shape of it. But yeah, Oramis, you do manage to get back to the boat with the eye without anyone else realizing. People saw you go in that direction, but no one saw you come back. It's just suddenly like, oh, Captain, you're back. Great. But yeah, you now have a dragon eye. As the last of the sort of ship is being packed up and put away, you would see a one Hercule begin to walk up to you.
One Hercule.
He sort of steps up to the ship as everything's being packed away. He's just handing off a sort of like small box of stuff to Mason, just some random scrap metal that the people of Dawnport are giving you, so it can be melted down and put into repairs and things like that. And he hands it off to Mason. Mason walks back onto the ship and he says, "Guys, can I talk to y'all for a quick second?"
Yeah, sure.
All right.
I just wanted to say thank you again, and I realize I never did tell you how I got here. I said I'd do it after everything calmed down. Seems pretty calm to me. He looks up at the sun and he's just like, I'll never get used to that thing. Yeah. Basically, to put a long story short, after we left the capital, I was feeling pretty lost. I'd always had a sort of purpose, I was with the Duragard, and with them, you always had a purpose. And then I was with Drix, and I was running and hiding and trying to keep him safe and trying to survive. And now I was just here, out in the world, and nothing really made sense in this whole new world I've never been in before, and no one was chasing me or after me. It was was nice, but without this purpose, I guess I just didn't really know what to do, so I just picked a direction and started walking. Eventually, I guess I walked way too far because I found my way here, and well, obviously I got captured, but finding you guys again and helping these people and things like that, I got that feeling back. I like that feeling. I mean, if Dogme was here, I'm sure he'd agree. Us dwarves, we're not ones to just idly sit by and do nothing. We need something that drives us. And helping these people out is definitely something that's driven me. And so I guess I'll just say thank you again. And I was thinking that with those cultists getting away, and there being about 20 fucking 3 feet weak ass people back in there, I was thinking maybe they need someone to look out for them. Maybe those cultists will be back one day, trying to retake the town or something. I don't know, but I was maybe thinking I'd stay, but I just wanted to speak to you guys and ask if how badly you would need another guy like me.
Oh, we'd need you so bad, but
There's no one else like you, Hercule.
no one else.
Ain't that just the damn truth?
However, if you have a higher calling, I don't think we can stand in your way. But if you ever need a job, let me know.
Well, I admit that I've never quite seen as much water as all that.
I've got a bar as well, if you just fancy some bar work.
God, no. Y'all people don't have a proper drink in this goddamn place. I've been to every bar from here to the capital. And it's just piss water. Tell you what, when you're all done, come back here or come find me. I'll get myself a couple of spider eggs and probably fermented. Then I'll show y'all a real drink. All right?
Oh, that sounds like something for a long time from now.
Oh, God. Anyway, I just want to be sure y'all are okay with me doing this. I don't want to do this and have any regrets. You're all sure you're okay without me?
We would always take you in a scrap, but like what my friend Oramis said, if you found a calling, who are we to deny you that? It's a noble thing to protect people, but no reward.
Yeah, well, y'all remember that as time goes by. All right, then. Guess
Do you
I'll,
need anything from us? Any supplies to help you look after the place?
Nah, I think I'll be all right. I'll whip these little shits into shape. No worry about it. I got
too
some
hard on
plans.
them.
He sort of looks back at Dawnpoint. I got plans for this place. Yeah, I got ideas. Anyway, safe travels, everybody, and you big one, Kai man, is it? Yeah, watch over these guys. They're without their dwarf, and you could apparently do healing stuff. So bring them back in one piece, all right?
The eloquent communicator he is.
He awkwardly reaches up to your thumbs up and just fist bumps it. Look, is that what you want me to? Puts his thumb out, tries to touch thumbs as well. Is this? I don't know what you do. All right.
Kai's like, ooh, a thumb war.
No. Right. Yeah. Have a good one, fellas.
I'll offer him my hand to shake.
Yeah. Takes your hand, shakes it. Offers.
We'll be back, Hercule. You know we will.
Y'all better be. You ain't all done with Hercule. Gives himself a bit of a chuckle. Does turn around, shakes Oramis, shakes your hand, shakes Mazzy's, Goes up to you, Angus, and Angus, fucking gnomes, man. Felix
Racist.
goes up to you, Felix.
All you
shakes,
small people look the same.
Shakes your hand as well. And he's like, and he sort of like looks at you like, I mean, I can grow, but damn, you're pretty cool. Gives you a nod.
I'll just take his hand and feel like, well, nice to meet you, and glad someone's gonna be making sure this place is still standing when we come back.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll keep it standing. It'll definitely be standing. I got ideas.
I
Turns around.
really
Walks
want to
back.
skip forward 5 years and just see what this looks like. Make Ben on the spot realise what this becomes.
I mean, you're a divination wizard.
Yeah, hang on. I'm going to spend this entire boat trip looking at what's going to happen. You know, in June when he keeps imagining the jihad that's going to happen. That's King Hercule. King Hercule.
Yeah, but Hercule turns around, walks back into the thing, and he just shouts, "All right now, you little shits! I want y'all up at the crack of goddamn dawn. We're getting this place back in a goddamn shape. Let's go!" Claps his hands and proceeds back into the thing with new driven purpose. But that was Hercule Fuddlerock.
I know what he's doing. He's going to build a massive thing that blocks the sun so he doesn't have to see it.
For a place called Dawnport, that would be quite ironic.
Dawnport, city in the shade.
But yes, that is Hercule's departure. You guys can get up on the ship, and in your own time, if there's nothing anyone else would like to do in Dawnport, you can be off.
That's you.
I think we hit the road. Check.
Hit the road. All right, so it is now about sort of 8 o'clock in the evening. The sun is setting. You think by the time you all settle down for bed, you'll make it out of the Dawn Bay. That's sort of 3-4 hours from now. That'd be sort of around the time you'd all sort of go to bed or whatever. Is there anything anyone would like to do this evening? You have some piece of information that you can get stuck into. There are maybe other things you'd like to do. I'm not entirely sure. You did pick up that like lockbox or whatever if you wanted to look at that or have a look at any of the items you collected.
At some point this evening, I'd like to summon Felix to my chambers.
Oh.
All right.
Captain's word is law.
All right. Do you get like one of your crew to go and like grab Felix?
Yeah.
Those halflings are contagious.
Yeah. At some point in the evening, Felix, Mason sort of knocks on your door or like comes and finds like, oh yeah, Captain wants you for something. Not entirely sure what.
Okay.
As he walks back, he's just like, use protection. Walks back.
I'm married.
Oh.
Still use protection.
When has that ever stopped anybody? Walks back. And yeah, you can go. Yes, Oramis. I'm assuming you'd go there fairly soon, Felix.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Felix comes into. I'm assuming like the captain's like war room, like big open room.
But it's pitch black apart from a single candle on my desk.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
In Puss in Boots vibes.
Felix, enter. That's Galahad, sorry.
Aramis, you wanted something?
Yes, I wanted something. I hear you have magical properties about you.
Yes, I am a wizard. I mean,
Good. You could show that a little better on the battlefield. But anyway, I have an eyeball that slams the dragon eyeball on the table.
There's just this wet like
Oh,
as it slams on the thing, and then just like some like sort of weird, almost looks like water just begins to like dribble over the table.
Do you have the power to turn this into a encased undead eyeball with 150 GP's worth of gems by any chance? If I supply the gems?
I could potentially encase the eyeball in something. Yeah, I don't know about doing anything undead. It's not really within my repertoire. Undead is highly frowned upon.
Yes, frowned upon. Maybe I have something I could do about that. Yes, encase it in gems for me, would you please?
I could potentially work on something, yeah.
All the while, Oramis is just in the shadow of this candle.
Why is this so clandestine?
Hey, I'm a rogue warlock, man. I work in the shadows.
this is what happened when Luke sits on a train for too long. Comes up with ideas.
I mean, yeah, I can potentially do something to this. Like, if you need it. I mean, it's quite large. I mean, given the size of it, like, there's 100. Like, does it need to be encased in gems, or does it need to be encased in something, and then can the gems be put on it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, why don't we try the cheaper option first, and if that doesn't work, you can find more gems, I guess.
Oh yeah, I'll just find more gems.
I mean, if you have the gems, then I can try and case it in gems off the start. I mean, is
Yeah, I have the gems. Come
Okay.
closer. Come closer.
okay.
Does Felix come closer?
Yeah. All right.
Just put a little bag in his pocket.
I'm going to immediately remove the bag and hold it next to the eyes. Like, this is not going to be enough.
Alright, fine. I give him 150 GP's worth of diamonds.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'll see
a little bit more of a bag. There's a couple of bags, but still not enough. Felix, make me an Arcana check.
An Arcana check. Okay. 16.
16.
Wizard.
You get the sense you're not entirely sure what he's trying to use this for, but you do get the sense that if you were to, for example, reduce the size of the thing and then encase it in these things, you think that whole process, for the purposes of this, could potentially work and therefore hold within a smaller amount of gems. So if you were to essentially reduce the size of it first and then encase it in gems, the reducing size magic would
be held
theoretically be held by the gems which they're encased in.
Okay.
Certain amounts of gems have certain properties that can encase certain magical things, basic magical properties.
Okay. All right. Well, potentially on this voyage, I can achieve something for you, Captain.
Good.
I'm so imagining Luke on the train, like practicing this awkwardly.
He's lost his marbles.
Just sat there looking at people opposite me.
Good. Can you turn my dragon eye into a gem encrusted?
Do it.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Anything else anyone would like to get to this evening?
No, I have a few things I want to do, but
Papers.
Pardon? Sorry, Sam. What did you say?
To pump through these papers.
Pump through these papers. So these papers are all held within a small lockbox with a little lock on the front. You can see sort of various sigils, and given your proficiency in Arcana, you can tell they are magical of some nature, but you're not entirely sure what kind of nature that is. You can make an Arcana check to try and figure that out, but it is, as far as you can see, a somewhat magical lock.
25.
25. Yeah, I'll say, looking at this sort of sigils and things, and you sort of turn the lock and see sort of the back of it as well. This bears many similar things to a sort of alarm. So if you were to open this up, you think that it might make a very, very loud noise. Or if you fail at opening it up with the correct key.
Yeah, is this like is it a magical effect from a spell?
Yeah, like a magical effect.
From a spell?
From a spell, yeah.
So if I cast a spell magic on it, it should go away.
Yeah. Yeah, with a 25 Arcana, you think, yeah, this is a very base magical thing. You've heard of, there are many sort of like tomes in the library in the Wizard's College which used a similar thing. Like if you tried to unlock it, it would just blare an alarm so that people would know. So yeah, absolutely. You think that a dispel magic would get rid of that enchantment very, very quickly. Push. The sigils and things dissipate, and there is still just this little diddy lock on this quite ornate lockbox.
Little diddy lock.
Little diddy lock, yeah. Like one of them small padlocks you can buy and like pound that and sort of thing.
Can I go to Oramis? I imagine I'll pass like a wide-eyed Felix on the way past in the corridor. Just
Yeah, Felix got a 1,000-yard stare, sort of clutching the wall.
You're right. Actually, I don't want to know.
He's in a weird mood.
With this strange box that's got a weird wet patch on the bottom of it.
Oh, is there a wet patch on this box?
No, not your box.
That's what I've got.
Yeah,
the fucking eye inside.
Yeah, that's weird. Whatever. And I'll go to my boy. I'll knock on Oramis's door.
Enter.
I'll just push the door in and just.
It's still dark in there. There's just one.
Yeah. I'll just. Why haven't you got a light on? More lights on.
There's a war on, don't you know? Resources are limited.
Okay. Can I just?
I work in the darkness. I am the night.
Can I just minor? Do you get light effect off a minor illusion? Or prestidigitation?
Not beyond 5 by 5 feet. No.
Okay, I just want a bit more light. A little cantrip, just for like, this is ridiculous. How are you supposed to work in this? You'll kill your eyes, mate.
I think prestidigitation, you can like light a candle.
There are other candles on the wall you could light if you want.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll just start lighting them one by one. Like,
I mean, you also have like
some more light in
firebolt.
here.
Yeah, you instantaneously.
Firebolt on my ship. Are you joking?
You instantaneously light or snuff out a candle, a torch, or a small campfire. So yeah,
Okay.
you can
If
immediately
there's
just
more
start lighting things.
Candles.
Yeah.
Hello, Oramis.
Oh, fine. All right. Hello.
I saw Felix in the hall. What's happening there?
Felix? Oh, he's just a jump. He had a favour to ask. And I said, no, I really can't do that. I'm the captain of the ship. I can't be doing that sort of thing for you, my friend.
Okay, yeah. You don't have to lie to me about being a stand-up citizen. I've been with you long enough.
I don't know.
Yeah, you know, I don't want anything to do with that. I'm sure it's great, whatever's happening. I'm sure as long as it helps us in some way down the line, that's fine. And I say us, not you. I'd like you to take note of that.
Yeah, we're a team, for sure.
Yeah,
me.
okay.
We go way back.
Yeah. Oh, such a politician. I have this lockbox I picked up earlier.
Yeah.
And I wondered if you could work your magic. I don't want to do the classic zingers and open it up.
Sure. I cast Lightning Lure. Cantrip. You want me to work my magic? No? Okay, I'll find that one funny. Alright. Okay, fine.
Wish you
Yeah.
were still stuck on the train.
Yeah, I will. I'll take the box and I'll go to work with one of my lockpicks.
Yeah, sure. Roll me a thieves' tool check.
As I'm lockpicking this, I'd just like to be muttering under my breath about the audacity, the cheek of coming here, slagging me off, and at the end of the day, it still comes back to me saying, "Oh, an upstanding citizen," but it still comes back to me when he needs a favour. Just muttering.
Yeah. Yeah, 19.
Look,
Easiest
I always
thing ever.
admire how you don't
You've
let
seen-
your actual day bleed into your D&D. You had a bad day, but you're not bitter about it. That doesn't carry over. It's always admirable to see.
I can't wait to kill some things. What do you mean this isn't a combat session? Oh.
Ben's like, cut to an instant break. I'm gonna make a combat encounter.
I mean, you never know. It's early days. So
Anyway.
yeah, easy enough. This is like you've seen this kind of lot like a million times before. It's one that's sold to like every general store ever. You know, very, very basic, easy little thing. Click, clock, done. And you can now open up the lockbox.
I'm not gonna open it up in Oramis's presence.
Oh, well, it's my ship.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean that in like a sinister way. Like, I'm just gonna go read it elsewhere. I know what happens is you're interested until you realise it's a lot of reading, and then you very quickly lose interest, and then I might as well be in my cabin.
So, are we talking about me or are we talking about Oramis? I'm a bit confused.
Like JJ said, I think sometimes it just bleeds into one or the other. Yeah, I'll probably go and I'll thank him firstly. Cheers, Oramis. I owe you one.
You do?
A cheap one. Please don't ask me to assassinate anyone for your election campaign.
Just one magic missile.
Just one, that's all it takes. And then I'll probably go into... I'm assuming Chikara's still on the boat.
Yeah, Chikara's down on the
I'll just go and...
Oh, she might have been useful against the dragon.
Chikara
made
has
great
been down
bait.
in the hold, and when you go down and you see her, she looks extremely excited, very bored, and kind of uncomfortable. Like down in the hold, there is not space for an elephant. There is enough space for an elephant to stand up and sit down again, but that is basically it. She looks like she needs some movement.
How long were we on the boat for?
How long are you
Until we
on the
get
boat
to
for?
Yeah, until we get to the silver. Hold.
About 3 days.
Okay, I have a plan to get us some fresh air.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just go sort of nestle down with the papers and just start sifting through them.
Yeah. Cool. So, first of all, you find a letter. Well, actually, no. First of all, so inside on the very top is a small wooden bowl with Tiamat's symbol engraved in the center, similar to the one you found beneath the dancing devil. You know, this is the kind of bowl they use in ceremonies to basically bring people into the fold and get them their scars. You also find a letter which has written on it, "To all members of the Order of Dragons." Apparently this letter says arrived 2 days ago, and inside has some text, and it says, "To my brothers and sisters of the Order, I'm pleased to announce that soon our ideals shall be actualized. Thanks to our new little helpers, we have uncovered the first evidence of what lies beneath our home, and it is exactly as the diviner foretold. Fortune does indeed favor the faithful. The ancient visionaries who once dwelled in these hallowed halls were fascinating, and I cannot wait to share our findings with all of you. Soon, our plans shall be realized. I shall find the artifact hidden below. With my new vision, I will become her messiah and lead us on a crusade against this unholy land. We shall bring the divine light of Tiamat into every corner weakness may wish to hide. Be prepared, be watchful, be faithful, the Black Prophet." You also see a selection of very, very old writings and things. And on the top, it says, like on a little note clipped to the top, it says, "To the Azure Inquisitor. In our investigation of the old ruins, we have found several documents in an old dialect with hidden ciphers upon them. I've been told you were once a college professor in Dernstad, and were particularly good at ancient ciphers and codes, as well as old dialects. Between us, we might be able to figure out this ancient code and unlock the secrets of the ruins beneath the old castle. In this letter, you will find a series of symbols that I believe to be a coded message. See what you can figure out from these and report your findings to me at once. Regards, Diviner Nasir Galathast. And the note you find looks like this.
Oh,
Cool.
it's a puzzle. Ben, would you say
Mm-hmm.
this is a language?
This is a cipher. It's not a language per se. So probably not.
Would you say, sorry, Luke?
Is it Thieves' Camp?
Well, Gylndan is currently down in the hull, in the hold. Sorry, so he wouldn't be able to recognize it even if it was.
I'm just debating. Hang on. Okay, so there's that.
There is that.
The
There is-
letter about them finding what they need under the Silverhold.
There is also one more piece of paper, and upon it, in the top left corner, it seems weird to have just a piece of paper and written in sort of small writing in the top left corner. It says, only the spark of her divine light will show you the way home. And it just says this in the top left corner of a square piece of paper. The rest of it is blank.
Say that again, sorry.
Only the spark of her divine light will show you the way home. It's on a piece of paper, written in the top left corner. The rest of it's blank.
Divine light. Can I just try a little prestidigitation behind the paper? Just get a bit of light behind it.
What kind of light would that be? Would that just be like a little candle light?
Well, I was going to say yes, but the way you phrased that has made me want to say no. Divine light. That's like radiant light.
Only the spark of her divine light.
So that's
Sorry, what was the second
her
half of that?
divine light.
Only the spark of her divine light will...
Will show you the way home.
Spark of her divine light
Okay.
will see you home. Okay.
Okay, well,
Can I try putting a little thing, but just a little prestidigitation behind it?
Prestidigitation behind it, you sort of conjure this like small candle flame in your fingers, and nothing. You can't see it with this kind of light.
Right, I might have to park that one for the moment. Have a little think about it. Yeah, so as part of being a divination wizard, I get something called the third eye,
Mm-hmm.
which so I can choose one of 4 abilities. One of them is greater comprehension, which means I can read any language. But you've already said this is a cipher. Do you think it helps? Yeah.
I might say... I might say yes. It would help in a certain way, but there is also... Okay, I will say this. So, if that is a thing you're activating, you activate it, you look at this piece of paper, and it is all very muddled. You can tell that these do make up words. You can tell the letters do these symbols and the numbers do equate to letters in some description. But that is about it, and you get the sense with this that there is some magical interference, very powerful magical interference, preventing you from seeing this in its fullest form.
So it's not just a written cipher per se.
It is a written cipher, but you get the sense that it has been protected from magics such as the one you're trying to do, so that only certain people can see what is written.
Okay, can I try?
So you would have to try and solve the cipher. I will say also the blue lettering is much newer. It's like bluer ink. You get the feeling that the Azure Inquisitor, the blue Inquisitor, the one with the staff who's casting spells, he has, from all these different letters with this same with this same sort of like script, he's managed to figure out that those those numbers equate to these symbols, and these symbols therefore must equate to some kind of lettering, but what that is, you're not entirely sure.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Interesting.
I wonder if I can add it as... Yes, I actually can. I think it's that one. If I just call it cipher. If I now do this, you might be able to see it as a mysterious cipher. I think that is now in players' journals, all players. Yeah, save changes. So now you should all have a little thing on the right-hand side where your character sheet is. It's mysterious cipher.
Oh
And you
shit!
can-
I hadn't realised that there was a load more to that.
and you can see it to potentially try and figure it out on your own,
Okay.
unless some of you are trying to figure it out now, in which case you obviously can do. Is there anything else anyone would like to do? I believe that is everything inside the thing. Yes. Yeah, that is everything inside this little lockbox.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna sit there and have a crack at this cipher, and then also wander on the only the sparks of her divine light will see home. So, do I think that's in reference to Tiamat?
You can make me an intelligence check. Just
Surely-
straight intelligence.
Surely her, what's it again? Her divine light is fire, surely. But then I've already tried fire. 24.
Oh, wow. So you're thinking about it. Spark of her divine light. You've tried fire. Spark. There's a reason they use the word spark. There must be a reason they've used the word spark, not just the light of her divine, her divine light, whatever.
Yeah.
They've worded this intentionally.
The more you said spark there, the more I thought it wasn't a real word. Do you ever have that when you look at words?
Yeah,
You just think that's not a word. I think you're wrong.
yeah.
Okay.
So think on that. Think on that what you will. And think on, potentially as well, Tiamat, what she represents, chromatic dragons, their abilities. Yeah, that's what I'd say with 24 intelligence. Does anything else, anyone else have
No,
anything?
for a supposedly intelligent character, I've never felt so fucking stupid in my life.
I will say Chantel did manage to do the cipher.
It's cool. It's very cool.
Took her about 20 minutes.
Chantel.
Yeah. Call of Duty Cold War did not inspire this in the slightest. It did. Cool. Is there anything else anyone is doing this evening? Any other bits and bobs anyone is doing before bed down? Kaiman, is there anything you'd like to do this evening before going to sleep?
I've got spell slots I need to get back, so I just need to rest, don't I?
Yeah, just rest.
So yeah, I need to do that. Otherwise, I've got half as many spells.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, Kaiman, you're led by Frank and Mason in towards one of the sort of they assume, because you're with Oramis, that you are like one of the quote unquote lieutenants of the ship. So you're led into a small room, unlike all the crew, which are basically sleeping in like bunks that are just sort of tied up between posts and things. You are sleeping in a proper sort of room. It's not very big. It's really not very big. It's only like, 10 feet long, 10 feet long, sort of like maybe 6 or 7 feet wide. But there is a proper bed within there with somewhat decent sheets, like a sort of almost like gold tinted sheets, a large chest, and a small desk in there as well. And you get a little porthole. You can hear the sounds of the waves of the ocean. And as you get in, you lay down. It's unlike any bed you would have slept on, Kaiman, because obviously you're a lizard folk. Your bed was the ground for a lot of your time. But you get in, very comfortable, and you manage to drift off to sleep. But don't refill your spell slots just yet. Is anyone taking any watches over the night? Is anyone doing staying up for any reason, or are you all? There is a night watch by your crew, but the difference between you guys doing a watch and your crew doing a watch is the fact that if you guys do a watch and something happens, you are first on the scene. If anything happens with just your crew there, it will take you guys a few rounds if it's combat, or just a little while to actually get to the action. But otherwise, anything you guys would like to do, or?
I'll offer to do the majority of it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So you stay up from.
Just gonna say, Ben, for future engagement, don't put a puzzling, because I haven't listened to a word you've said for about.
that is fair. Yeah, putting this cipher in, I was sort of thinking like, okay, yeah, if we start at a decent time, I can just sort of sit back and let them try and do it, and that's fair enough if you want to just sit back and try and do it. But
I'm still listening to you. I was joking, but
no. Fair enough. If you're trying to do it, this might end up helping out. It's realistically what Gylndan might do. But yeah, Oramis, so you're staying up most of the night. Just roll me a d20.
Okay.
I actually say roll me 2 d20s because you're staying up for, I'll say, like 2 shifts.
Yeah.
So like half the night.
Sure.
Yeah. 15 and a 5. So for the first part of your evening, it's actually quite nice. It sort of turns into a little more of a sort of summer's evening, like British summer's evening. So it's not super warm. The air is cool and refreshing. There aren't any clouds in the sky. It's just you, the moon, some of your crew, and you, the moon, some of your crew, and some different bits. And it's just quite relaxing, the first half of your shift. In the second half of your shift, you do notice a light beneath the waves, just slowly. You have a pretty high passive perception, so I'll say you definitely notice this. It starts off quite like low down in the sea, and then it slowly just gets brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. Anything you would like to do?
Do I have any immediate idea what this is?
Make me a perception check.
Perception.
16. You can see as it's getting a little closer, it is some kind of figure or creature that is lighting up the bottom of the ocean.
Do I think it's a threat, or?
I'll say with a 16 perception, that's about all you can see. You can tell it is some kind of creature, a pretty large creature, rising from the depths of the ocean, and it's making a pulsing light.
Okay.
I'd also say with a 16, you can see a small dark spot in front of the light.
Could I just call to my crew to go and wake some additional hands and be ready just in case?
Yeah. Any of those hands? Any of your friends here, or just some of your extra crew?
Just some of my crew at the moment.
Okay. Yeah. A few more hands.
Try and angle a course away from it.
Yeah. Absolutely. So a few more hands. Thing. There's about sort of 5 people on watch every evening. You rally an extra sort of 5. A few, ropes are pulled and different bits. You put yourselves on sort of half sail over the evening, and you do manage to sort of turn yourselves away. What crew aren't needed there grab some crossbows that are available, and they just sort of like run against the edge of the ship and are sort of trained on the edge of the ship. Anything further you'd like to do, or are you just waiting as this light gets brighter and brighter and brighter, and this dark spot gets larger and larger and larger?
Just watching as we try and sort of steer a course away from it.
Yeah. As you steer a course away from it, you can see all of a sudden this large creature, like a sort of like orca, emerge from the water, just rises up from the water, and it jumps pretty high, sort of certainly higher than your ship, than the deck of your ship. And then the light emerges, and you see this humongous sort of anglerfish, this massive anglerfish type creature, except instead of two eyes, it's just got one large beady eye on the front of its head, just emerge and just bite the thing in half, midair, just and then falls back into the ocean, and you just see the ocean turns red near your ship, but the creature submerges back into the water with its food, not to be seen again. The pulsing light dims and dims and dims until nothing.
Cool.
Anyone else?
Regular player as a sailor, obviously, not phased by it.
Anyone else taking any sort of watch shift overnight, or are you just trusting it to the crew?
I'll trust the crew. I need the rest.
Once I've done my shifts, I'm just going to go meditate in my quarters.
Yeah. You sit in your quarters and you sit there and you meditate for a second, and slowly you fall into what you're beginning to realize is your new version of sleep. It's not sleep. It's just sort of, I guess, yeah, you would call it meditation, just when you're sort of sitting there with your eyes closed and you just let the world drift around you. But yeah, it's weird. It's not sleep. You don't dream. You instead just receive strange premonitions, strange visions. I guess you'd call them dreams, but they're all very, very vivid. And you've been having them a couple of times now, more and more. And in every one, you appear as someone on this very ship. Even though it looks different, you recognize it as this very ship. And in every single one, you die. And in this one, you appear as an individual. You are stood high upon the mast of the ship. And you watch in this storm as someone climbs up there with you. You hear the shouting and singing of swords and clashing of metal below. You see huge tentacles reach from the water and slam down on the sides of the ship. And as lightning strikes, you see the face of the person on the mast with you drawing his sword. It's you. You battle, you fight, you put up a good fight, but in the end, you yourself, you viewing this dream, suddenly can't move. And you watch as Oramis, you simply steps up, slices your throat, and as you fall, your dream ends, and you wake up. And you begin to piece it together, the several dreams you've been having. You now don't dream, you just see the deaths of the other captains every night, almost as like
that's real cheery.
Almost as like a premonition or a warning, almost like they're trying to warn you of essentially how not to die. A bit weird, but I guess this is your new life now. Leaving it up to the crew. Oh, lovely. Nothing really happens. You wake up in the morning and they saw a bunch of dolphins swim by the ship. But nothing really happens. A new day has dawned on the ship. Can you roll me a d10 for the weather?
Yeah.
And while you do that, how are people getting on with that cipher? Any ideas? Any?
I relate how the numbers relate to letters, really,
I see.
because
Well,
obviously you would have thought, well, yeah. First thought was like, because the first symbol's D, and a 4, sorry. So you would think that would be D, but then obviously there's other numbers that are much higher. So I don't think that's the right path to go along, unless Ben gives anything away with his face.
all I would say is think of some of the words there. See if there's any repeating ones. See, what kind of words you can think of that kind of relate to the amount of words there, and see what you can glean from that. I don't know if that's just confused it even more. I don't know, but
Yeah.
cool. Nothing. Oramis rolled a 1 for
The weather.
the weather, but it turns out you want low rolls for the weather because that means clear skies. You don't even need to make a check. Completely clear skies today. Beautiful day. Wind in your favor. Not a great amount of wind, but what wind there is, it is completely in your favor. You're sailing off, making very, very good progression into the day. What's everyone up to today? What's everyone up to during the day, assuming that nothing happens and you've got the whole day to yourselves? Does anyone have anything they would like to be doing, or any projects they would like to do, discussions, anything like that?
Now is a good time for a break.
You think now is a good time for a break?
Yes,
Yeah?
and the coding can continue.
Yeah, sure, yeah. We can take a quick 5-minute break. Try and make it fairly quick because of the late start, but people do what they got to do. Yeah, sure. I'll see you guys in 5 minutes where we'll back. So, welcome back. Yes, Gylndan, you wake up in the morning, and so like last night, maybe you like fell to sleep with this like puzzle on your chest, but then you wake up one morning with this spring of inspiration, this epiphany, and you start writing it down, and you do eventually uncover the puzzle. Bury the eye, glory to the whispered one.
Would I know who this pertains to?
You can roll me either an Arcana or a history check.
Oh, I'm good at both in theory, probably not in practice.
Also, you can roll your 3 divination rolls.
Oh, do we get long rest?
Oh, long rest.
Yes, yeah, long rest.
Amen.
All of you. Good job.
Right, hit dice, you get half them back.
Hit dice, yes, you get half of them back.
Okay.
17. Right, so for history, 17, I would say you are aware of... You're aware of a very...
Has Glyndon shared this, by the way? Sorry to interrupt.
Not, well, it depends if I know what it actually relates to.
I'm imagining this is him waking up, figuring this out, and then thinking, Whispered One, where have I heard that? I'd say you might have heard of the Whispered One. You would have heard of someone, I'd say, called the Whispered One, a wizard from a very, very long time ago who basically became extremely powerful enough to make dealings with deities and almost be known as one himself. You don't exactly know what happened to him. This was very, very prohibited knowledge for the Wizards College back then. But it is... but yeah, you are aware of... A Whispered One was a very, very powerful and very, very evil wizard from a very, very long time ago.
I'll share the contents of the box.
Yeah,
I'll say about solving the cipher, and then I will ask if anyone has any ideas for the letter that says, "Only the spark of her divine light will see you home." Also, just quickly, sorry, Ben, just a little point. That letter was from the diviner.
What, this letter?
No, the cipher one.
Oh,
the cipher message, was that to the diviner or from the diviner to someone else?
The cipher was written many, many hundreds of years ago. This is one of the very, very...
to be solved.
Oh, the letter asking for it to be solved was written by the diviner Nicaea. Yes.
And he sent it to...
He sent it to the cultist. It was called the Azure Inquisitor. You think that means the Inquisitor that you fought in Dawnport that was casting spells and shit. The smart one.
Right. So it was Nicaea's trying to find out about it, but he was like referring it to a friend basically to see if he had any thoughts.
Yeah. Almost like he's, Nicaea is a very, very... You get the sense that he's a very, very busy guy, with Rash'ak and everything going on, and you also get the sense that maybe there was quite a lot of notes, so he handed some off to this guy. Probably not all of them, but he handed some of them off to this Inquisitor. This is some of them that you found and just uncovered. And yeah, you have solved. But yeah, you go up. You can tell everyone what's going on. By now, everyone's sort of awake and up and about. The weather is beautiful and clear today. Beautiful blue skies, wind in your favor. Everything going brilliant and smoothly. Yes, what would you like to do?
Can I also make a check about the Whispered One?
Yeah, sure. Either history or Arcana.
We've got a library on the ship.
On the boat?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. It's a very, very small one, but it is a selection of books.
Okay.
From many ages.
10. Felix, this is a little bit beyond your pay grade.
Yeah,
You're
I don't know any more English.
trying to think like, nah, I haven't really heard of... I haven't gone in too deep on the history of other wizards It's little bit beyond me.
Well,
Yeah.
if no one's got anything else,
Does anyone have any thoughts on Cipher? Not Cipher. This message.
which message? Sorry. Oh,
The Divine
yes, the Divine Light. Well, Freya is the goddess of the moon. So moonlight is would be a type of divine light. Can't really
You think
test
it's
that
related
right
to
now.
Freya over? You think it's related to Freya over Tiamat?
If you've translated this and something was buried, maybe Freya or followers of Freya were set to guard it.
This letter, the Spark of the Divine Light letter, that was written by Inquisitors to Inquisitors.
Oh,
That was written now. That was sent like a few days ago.
okay. And okay, in terms of divine light, then
Thinking of flinging a firebolt at Oramis while he's holding it, seeing if he can read anything.
how many? I mean, Tiamat has 5 elements. Fire is the only one that gives off light, really. Unless this
So I think there's a key bit in the wording. It says spark for a reason. I think
Is it not lightning, thunder, lightning?
possibly. Well, I mean, lightning sparks, fire technically sparks, doesn't it? So
Okay.
I tried putting a flame behind it and nothing happened.
Okay. Not fire.
Say,
then-
with that one solved, I'll bring you over to here, and that's the letter in. You can see.
Oh, you got to rub all this black stuff off the rest of the paper. That's what it is.
Yeah, the paper is otherwise blank, except for that only the spark of her divine light will show you the way home.
Okay.
When we've had interactions with her in her form,
Mm-hmm.
there's always been like a mist, hasn't there?
Yeah, she's always appeared as a very dark figure with lots of like shadowy mist. You remember reading from the book on Tiamat that you stole that she has another appearance of called the Dark Lady, this sort of shadowy humanoid
Oh, we
female
met her.
form.
Very tasty.
Muy taste.
Alright, is anyone any lightning capabilities?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I've got lightning lure.
Oh, do it. Yeah,
Well,
do it.
that seems smaller scale than what I've got. So
Yes. It is a bit of paper, not a monster.
So
Or-
are you lightning luring it?
I don't know about hitting the bit
Yeah.
of paper, but
Like trying behind it, maybe.
Like when you write in lemon juice and stuff like that. That's sort of what I'm thinking.
yeah.
Yeah, just try it. Is it just a cantrip?
Yeah, it's cantrip.
Yeah, just fling it. Why not? Behind the paper.
Yeah. I mean, I can grip onto something essentially with it. It's my understanding. So like I could kind of effectively maybe. But then anyway, okay, I'll just whip behind it and we'll see what goes.
Yeah.
Right, it says.
You do it behind it. You cast lightning lure as you're sort of looking at the paper, and obviously lightning lure, because you're not targeting a creature with it, this lure sort of like springs out, crackles with light, and then comes back. But and then disappears. And like this happens in like half a second because there is no target. But in that half a second, where that lightning is appearing in the light, you do see something. As the lightning appears, you do see something.
Almost. Can you target like a post or something? Can I hold it next to the post and will it just stay there?
I don't see why not. It's instantaneous though.
What does it keep you? Does it like attach you to the creature? Or
It says I can pull a creature 15 feet towards me.
Yeah, it's like a
10 feet
whip.
towards
So
me.
you like pull.
so if he
Um,
whipped up one of the masts, would it stay attached or would it just instantly disappear?
It would stay attached for a few seconds and then disappear.
Okay, do it. I'll hold the paper in front. I'll try and read this real quick.
Yeah, I'll...
Yeah.
Yeah, the video of that guy who reads really quickly.
Yeah. So you whip out this lightning lure onto the mast. The mast, crackles with heat, and you almost worry for a brief second that it's going to catch fire, but it never does. And again, you see something on the paper appear. It's now a little more. You can see the shape of a sort of island, and some writing. It's too quick to see what it says, but you can see elements of the lightning lure, almost like, lightning lure you would hope would just be like a straight line, lightning to pull, but it's almost like it slightly tries to arc in the direction of the paper, almost like it wants. It's almost like attracted to the paper.
I
Like
think
it wants to hit the paper.
Wait, so we've hit the mast.
You've hit the
I
mast.
think try hitting the
It's
paper.
appeared. You've seen stuff in the light of it, but the arc of the lightning lure almost like slightly goes in the direction of the paper, as if the paper is almost attracting it slightly.
Okay, yeah, I think Judge is right. Maybe Oramis, if you hold it and then lightning lure it in your hand. See what happens.
Sure.
Lightning lure the piece of paper. The paper crackles and crackles with energy, and you have to quickly let go because I'd say like whoever's holding the paper takes 1 lightning damage as it sort of crackles with this lightning energy and drops. And for a second, you're worried, shit, we've burnt it. As it does burn up, the paper does physically burn up. But then from its center, it almost pulls out and heals itself. But now with writing and lettering and all that good stuff. And you see this. As you're doing this, Ponsky becomes very interested in what you're doing, particularly a letter. And as he sort of looking over your shoulder, that's it. That's Silverhold Island. That triangle you see there, that is the Silverhold. It's this large triangular structure that sits off a cliff, and that structure up the top there, that is the old castle that was built there years ago. Yes, there's the river goes through there. That must be their base of operations. And yes, the river. There's rumors of the source of the river being something strange about it. They have some kind of mine starting there, I suppose. Yes, this is it. This is Silverhold Island. You can see where they are. Interesting. Okay. For your reference, the rest of what is shaded in here, that is pretty much jungle. Quite thick, dense jungle. It is rather warm there, and these symbols up here over the top, that is a defense mechanism that the old owner of the castle built many hundreds of years ago, so that ships couldn't come too close. Large metal pikes built into the ground and rise up, so that any large ships that came nearby would scrape against the pikes and potentially be stuck upon them and sunk. If we were to approach, I would suggest maybe not parking up the boat near there. But yes, this is it. This is Silverhold Island, I guess, what they call their home. Interesting. All right, very interesting. It is around this time where you're discussing this and speaking about this. Everyone. Actually, no. I'd say it happens way too quickly. You suddenly just hear this splash from the water, and then as you would all sort of turn, and many of the crew sort of turn as well, it's not a difficult thing to miss. You see 2 figures rise from the water very, very suddenly, and then land on the ship. They fly up literally like above the deck of the ship, and your deck, goes like 15, 20 feet above the water. They fly up above the water and then collapse onto the deck of the ship in a massive heap, very, very loudly. the pair of them seem to roll away from each other. One of them remains laying there, sort of like on his side. The other one seems to be a woman, and she gets up, runs over the other one, and almost in a very, very protective, like fighting stance, sort of crouches over the body of the first. These appear to be elven individuals. They wear sort of rags made of sort of like seaweed. One is male, one is female, as I've said. And they are elven, but behind their sort of pointed ears, you can see they connect to their heads, almost like fins. And behind their ears, going down the backs of their necks, are almost like gills. You can also see on their forearms are slightly wider, their hands are slightly larger, and they have fins going down the edges of their forearms, and the backs of their necks, and the sides of their calves as well. These are sea elves, very recognizably sea elves. And they stand in these sort of tattered rags, looking at you all. Well, one of them stands, one of them lies seemingly unconscious on the deck of the ship, until you realize some blood is spilling from beneath them. The female...
Point Kaiman. Kaiman! To this elf's aid.
As you begin to approach, this female just... and she just begins doing things with her hands. You're not entirely sure. She begins almost doing symbols and different shapes and signs with her hands.
Is she from Naruto?
No. You get the sense that she is trying to communicate with you with her hands, almost like sign language.
Is it that she can't speak because she's an aquatic creature above water, or?
You're not entirely sure at this present moment. She's clearly trying to. She's not even trying to attempt to speak. Almost, she looks very, very. Looks like she needs a lot of help, but also very, very wary. And she's trying to communicate with her hands towards you, but I don't believe any of you know sign
Did
language.
we fight sea elves before?
The guy on the ship was a sea elf, but we fought Suffragin. Are they different?
Yeah.
They are different, aren't
Yes, they are.
they?
You
I'm
would
pretty
know.
sure that druid was a sea elf. The one
I
that was
couldn't
with
remember if
Hallahan.
there
Yeah,
was any other sea elves that we fought against.
Is there blood on our hands? Is what you're asking?
No, I'm
I
trying to
believe
remember.
not.
Like, did we fight any of them, and did we know if do any of them potentially speak above water? Because that sea elf was talking to Hallowhand, and it was dry in the hydro.
He was definitely speaking.
Yeah, and
Of
he
course,
was
also
speaking
on the ship as
regularly.
well.
So in theory, they can speak above water, so that's not the issue here.
Can I try speaking to them in Elvish?
Yeah, of course.
Try get anything back.
What do you say?
Just peace. You look in trouble. Can we help?
She looks at you and just. She looks over at one of your crew, who, in reaction to this, has held up his crossbow. And she just almost like takes a step over to him, grabs the bolt off the crossbow, and then just takes that and almost like pretend plunges it in her stomach, and then looks over to her brother and sort of, or this individual who you think they're about the same age. They do look fairly similar. They're similar sort of features. Could be her brother or a partner.
Can I point at Kaiman, and then mime like being ill, and then like Kaiman doing something, and then like feeling better, and then be like,
yeah, roll a performance check.
a performance check. I'm not bad at these, in fairness.
Kaiman loves charades.
16.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's a little confused at first, but very, very quickly seems to get it. And though she looks up at Kaiman like this terrifying creature, she does sort of very, very tentatively. She watches him, but she ushers you over, Kaiman, and she rolls this individual over, and you can see he is slightly younger than her. He is a fairly sort of like slight elven figure, very, very slender, definitely more sort of agile or dexterous. And through his side, you can see there is this crossbow bolt, almost wrapped in this strange kelp. You're not entirely sure. You could heal them, but first you're going to have to get that crossbow bolt out. That has gone straight through his stomach. So to do that, I'd need a medicine check from you, Kaiman.
While he's rolling that,
Okay.
did she understand me when I spoke to her in Elvish?
It seemed so.
Can I ask her if were you attacked? Are you being followed?
She nods towards you very, very frantically.
Okay. Oramis, maybe get some crew on the sides.
I know a real life thing about taking arrows out of people.
You have to pull it through.
No, what you can do is if it's like a broadhead and it's barbed when you because if you're trying to pull it out, because also if it's torso you can't really push that through. If you're trying to pull it out, it does more damage on the way out. So what you have to do is
Start with feathers.
Pardon?
It's about feathers.
Yes, is you take feathers, you snip off the end of the feather because the feather is hollow, then you push the feather into the wound and you put that on the corners of the arrows, which means when you pull it out, it stops the corners of the arrowheads doing more damage on the way out.
Ah. That's a great thing for JJ to know.
Yeah, it's a great thing for me to know.
If only Felix knew it, as Kaiman's rolled an 11. So Kaiman, you get down and you begin sort of thinking about how you've done this in the past, but this person is very, very weak, does not have the same physiology as lizard folk, and when you've taken arrows out of people before, it's been a lot simpler than this. Or at least the physiology you know, and it's been people with thicker skin. So you try and do what you have done previously with lizard folk, and this individual wakes up and just begins screaming, crying. A large gout of blood pours from their side. You get it out, fine enough, but they are on... You've done a little bit of harm here. You've done good, you've got it out, but they have taken some more damage, and they are on the brink. What would you like to do, Carmen?
Healing ward. Yeah, is that the right one? Yeah, healing ward.
Healing... You mean healing word?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Healing word. Healing word is a very small scale healing.
true.
It's like 1d4.
Yeah.
To do something like this, you might need something a little bit more.
Prayer of healing. There we go.
Prayer of healing.
Yeah.
That one takes 10 minutes to cast.
Okay, he doesn't have 10 minutes.
Yeah,
might do.
this guy didn't seem to... I mean, he maybe did before you then shove the arrow through him, and he's bleeding a lot more now.
I don't need it.
I don't understand why he's not as tough as lizard folk.
His skin, it's...
I mean,
Oramis, are you getting Mason and Co on the decks with weaponized?
Yeah, I'll get the crew ready, and I'll also send a message to, because we kind of forget about him, but Caspian, tell him to be on guard as well.
Yeah, their ship is like visibly behind yours, a few hundred feet.
I could do AoE heal wounds, or I could wait for him to die and cast Revivify.
If you've got Aura of Vitality there, that's you can do that as a bonus action for a minute. So you can do like 2d6, 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 2d6. So you can do that 10 times.
Yeah. Yes. As a high class whatever.
Yeah, I gave you that advice because you are an 11th level cleric. You would know what your spells do. So yeah, something like Aura Vitality would definitely help a lot more. So as you begin to cast this spell and begin to heal them, it does take a little while, but over the next minute, the bleeding does stop, and eventually this person goes back into unconsciousness, just lying there on the ship. As you begin to get people ready, Oramis, Frank looks over at this elf trying to communicate. He's like, "Oh, she's signing. I can help."
As if Frank knows how to sign. What a legend. What's she saying, Frank?
He sort of walks over to her and begins signing himself like, "Hello, this is the Vengeance. We are here to help. What is your problem?" And over the while, she begins to sort of explain herself and okay. He says she is a general, and this is a prince of the Sea Elven Empire. So they were prisoners. They've been prisoners by Sahwajin for a few months, but they've managed to escape. On their escape, their brother was shot. She managed to lose them, but they might.
Wait, hang on.
But they're searching for them.
Hang on. She's a general. He's a prince, but she's not a princess. But
no,
they're not related.
She just
brother, as in like a racial thing.
Have I misunderstood their relationship
These are questions you can ask. You can at least ask Frank to ask her.
I mean, she might have given up being a princess to be a general.
He continues on. They escaped about a day ago. They've been chasing them down in beneath the sea trenches. So they came up here. They know they're chasing them. They're not right on their tail, but she thinks they will come looking. Yeah, this is her prince. She needs to get him back to their empire. She's asking if she can stay aboard the ship until first light of tomorrow, to just hide, in case they're looking for her and they come for her, and her brother particularly. She says she can pay us. And she moves off and walks over to her brother, and takes off. You can see he has these small pearl earrings, and she takes these off her brother, and sort of holds these out. She says these are worth a lot of money. She can pay us for essentially staying overnight for a brother to get better. And
well, at this point, Oramis will step up and he'll take the gift of friendship from her and offer the hospitality of the vengeance and the protection from their enemies, and I'll ask Frank to translate.
Okay, yeah. Frank begins to translate, and you see she just sort of like looks over to you, puts her hands together, and just almost like that, just like thank you, basically, and then she does sign thank you, and she begins to speak to Frank again, and says, "Is there any way they can hide away on the ship?" She says they don't want to cause too much trouble, and they want to be hidden away in case they come for her. She doesn't know if they will. She says there's a chance they might think they went up to the surface. It's irregular for elves to come up to the surface, so
they're
not sure.
They would have a very fierce defender in the hold if you put them with Chikara.
I mean, I was going to give them something comfy like my own quarters, but okay. We can also chuck them in the hold with the
livestock.
No, it's just your quarters aren't very well lit, if you remember Oramis.
To be fair, sea elves have probably got good dark vision,
Yeah, you can see these guys also do have slightly larger eyes than your average person. These guys are used to extremely deep, oceans and things like that. So they must have pretty good dark vision.
But yeah, I'll offer them my quarters, and I'll put one of my best men on guard outside the cabin.
And who's that?
Has Mason in it.
Absolutely.
Someone
right. Yeah. So
more like.
Oh, I mean, actually, we could bring in some of the other crew. I've got a list of people.
Yeah. All right. So she.
I'm sticking. Buka. Yeah. No, it's Walter. It's Walter.
So we'll say, over the next few minutes, men are rallied to essentially like help lift the prince, and with your guidance, Kaiman, as well, the prince is very, very carefully lifted up and into Oramis's quarters. General, you learn her name is Namaya. General Namaya is very, very thankful. Very, very thankful indeed. And she basically goes and sits with her brother, pretty much for the remainder of the day until, until otherwise notified. Except for, as she's going in, Felix, I have a question for you. When you're regularly out and about, what do you, just on the ship, what do you carry on you?
What do I carry?
Yeah, just when you're walking out and about on the ship.
Oh, I know what this is in relation to.
What do I normally carry? I mean...
The weight of his own emotions?
Yeah. Well, thinking about what I was planning on being up to today, I would probably have, one elite... Well, I've got the Mechanist Watch, so that's easy, because that just hides everything. That just turns into weapons. That's easy to carry. I'd probably have the new sword on me just in case. Realistically, I was thinking of doing stuff in the workshop today. But if it had come to a fight, then I probably would have claimed to have had the staff with me, as I'm guessing that's what this is about.
You don't know.
I don't know. It's hard to say because realistically, he wouldn't be wandering around with it the whole time. So probably just simple stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
The staff's quite big.
Yeah. So yeah, she goes in, and that is where she and her brother remain, pretty much for the whole day. Yeah, they are very, very quiet. You don't hear a peep from them. Mason and whoever else you wish to get stands outside their door. Every now and again, you can tell they do sort of waver from their watch a little bit. One of them gets distracted because someone else is doing something, or someone else needs to be shown what to do, or whatever. But they're pretty stalwart defenders of it throughout the rest of the day. Is there anything anyone would like to do for the rest of the day, pretty much, as the day goes by? That happened at around sort of 11 a.m. sort of thing. Is there anything anyone else would like to do for the day?
I'd like to ask Felix how he's got on with my freaking eye.
Yeah, there's a few things that I have a few things I'd like to do. I guess I'd probably better start with the captain's eye.
Okay.
See if I can do anything.
You don't have to.
All right, I won't then. Fine.
I'd strongly advise it, but
yeah, I'll start with that one, as seems like I've got an idea about that, and maybe this won't take too long.
Okay. How would you like to encase this eye in stuff?
Okay. Well, I've got all of Oramis's gems.
not all of them.
Yeah, I've got all of them. They're all mine now. I am rich. I am the king. I am the captain of the ship. So what I would like to do is to take some of the gems and use fabricate to essentially, like, as if I was going to mold it, like essentially make like how to describe this? Basically like a little two semicircles out of the gems by using fabricate.
Okay. Yeah.
That can then, when you shrink down the eye, can then be put in and closed up.
Okay. Yeah. I'll say with fabricate, you are able to create. You're able to create whatever you want, as long as you've got the materials with fabricate. Because the gems are all different colors and things, it does come out a little bit of a murky color. Well, it's murky in some areas, but in others, it is a sort of shifting, like red, sort of shifts to blue, shifts to green, shift to purple.
Marbled color effect.
Yeah. But you managed to get these two halves. So yeah, with the use of fabricate spell, you get the two halves, no problem.
Okay. Cool. I would also like to use fabricate to make like a new pommel for my sword. That's like like a dragon. What do I need? I need a specific thing. I need an object with the image of a dragon engraved upon it. So I want to try and like fashion like a new pommel for this sword that's like in the shape of like a dragon's head.
Okay. I will say for this one, because it needs to be of a certain quality, doesn't it?
It says the object.
Or
it says,
are you just...
So the component for the spell is an object with an image of a dragon engraved upon it worth at least 500 GP. So my thinking is if I turn this magical sword into and change the shape of the pommel into a dragon's head, that a magical sword would be worth and would count as a component for this spell.
Okay. No, that's actually that's quite creative thinking. Okay. I would say it takes you the better part of the day to get the dimensions, sort of measure out the dimensions and get it perfect. But with another use of fabricate, fabricate, you create things to what you know, to what you can. So sure. I mean, it says you can make a bridge out of wood, so you can certainly make a pommel, you know. Absolutely. So yeah,
like
you fabricate this pommel.
I feel like Felix would spend some time, maybe just like doing some sketches of it and stuff like that, and sort of mapping out in his head how he'd make it from scratch. But now he's got the magical means to make it. It just speeds up that process. And so there's maybe like a sort of a test run or something like that, sort of semi-manually to knock something together before he uses the spell to create the final version. And a bit of sort of like taking like the pommel off the old sword, seeing how it attaches. He's got all the mechanism worked out.
Okay, awesome. Anything else for the day, Felix?
I mean that's taking up most of my day.
Yeah, I'd probably say that's taking up most of your day. I was wondering if there was any small bits. Or...
I mean, I want to work on my gun, but I'll do that on another day.
Probably. Yeah, cool. We'll go to Kaiman. Kaiman, anything for you today? You have some armor that you can, given the fact that you have a channel divinity to be able to create metal objects, and you can create heat with your hands by your attack rolls. I would say you are certainly able to work on your armor if you wanted to during this time.
I was thinking, it was like, on this ship, where am I gonna find, like all my blacksmith equipment? And then I realized I am the blacksmith equipment.
Yeah, you are the blacksmith equipment. You have also blacksmith supplies with you, so you have like the small hammers and the and the molds and different things to be able to do that. On the ship, there are, some basic tools for fixing dents in armors and molding metal and things like that to create certain nails and compartments for the ship. So you are certainly able to do some work on the ship if you would like to.
Yep. And before I start work, I make sure to fireproof my work area.
Thank the Lord.
Okay.
You mean you're not working in the magazine?
Make a perception check. This will be to see any fire hazards around you to make sure to fireproof them.
The entire boat.
You sort of go, okay, fireproof, yes, need to fireproof. And you see one thing like, okay, well, this whole space is made of wood. I need to fix that. And you go around, and then you sort of like begin walking around. Maybe you ask Oramis a thing or two, or ask some of the crew. And it's then you realize, after wasting about half an hour of your time, the entire boat is made of wood. That is not a problem you can fix. So you're like, well, I guess I'll do what I can.
Blankets.
Yeah. Yeah, there are certainly like spare sort of fabrics or fixes for sails and things like that. So you can you know enough to work on something like that. But identifying fire hazards and things like that, you're just you spend a lot of time sort of confusing yourself about that and making yourself look like a little bit of a fool to some of the crew when you're asking like, "Hi, is there any way I can make this not wood?"
In the end, I was the fire hazard.
Yeah, and you do end up sort of like around the day, a lot of the crew are like, there's a lot of rumors and whispers going on, like basically people being like, I really hope that big guy doesn't burn down the ship, because he said he's doing something with fire and he wasn't aware the ship was wood, so this is going to be interesting. Oh, 1 second, I'm just getting a call a second. Hello?
Hello, congratulations. You have
This is our
won
sponsor
£1
slot.
million.
Who are we sponsored by this week?
You got any personal plans, Sam?
Southern Rail.
For
Only what?
you got any plans for stuff for Clinton?
Yeah, I was potentially going to teleport to the Northern Sanctuary just to give Chikara a little walk, and then teleportation circle back to the boat.
Why isn't that a flex?
Also, I was probably going to go. I was thinking I could speak to Albus as well. Any the final tips for fighting the person whose name I forgot.
Rash'ak.
Yeah, just any like little tippy poos.
Has he got a particular style? Does he often like feint left and then go right? That sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I think we know he's an acid dragon, don't we?
Yes. And Mazzy's
So,
done.
that's
Mazzy's
helpful.
got like some dragon knowledge, so we know that's like deck-based saving throw. And...
Hello.
Hello.
I'm back. So, yes, so Kaiman, if you're going to do some work on your armor, I'm going to need 3 checks from you. So you use up one of your channel divinities for the day, and you will spend 8 hours of your day doing this.
Bloody hell.
So firstly, I need a wisdom check with proficiency to do this stuff. So roll me a wisdom check and add 5. $15. Doesn't quite go as well as you're hoping for this particular part. But there we go. Next check. So the next check is a blacksmith's tools check. So that's strength plus proficiency. Throw me a strength check and add 5. 13.
Still worried about the fireproofing.
And the last one, I cannot quite remember what I said for the last one.
Working on solid ground.
Yeah, you are not quite used to working on a rocking ship that's sort of going back and forth and things like that. Oh crap, I cannot for the life of me remember what I said for the last one. So just roll me another wisdom check. Okay. Unfortunately, this day doesn't quite go as planned. You make some progress, but not as much as you were hoping. There is something maybe, rocking of the ship and things like that. It doesn't quite go in your favor. You're still so you have to basically complete 3 sets of working. With this, you've completed half of one. So you now have 1.5. So you still need to do another 1 and another half. So there we go. That's what Kaiman's doing. Gylndan, we'll go with you really quickly.
I think I'd probably go and tell Oramis that I'm gonna teleport up to the Northern Sanctuary with Chikara. And
Okay.
just take her for a little walk and then go and speak to Albus as well, hopefully.
Okay, cool.
Could I? Is Felix, not Felix, the other small person,
Angus.
Angus.
Is he still in the sanctuary?
As far as you were aware when you left him, like 4 days ago.
Could I ask Gylndan to take a note to give to Angus to then somehow get to a certain somebody in the Shadow Coast?
Okie dokie. Sure. Who is the letter for? If you don't want people to know, message it to me, and we'll work that out.
Yeah, it's if you don't mind, I'll message you.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
So Gylndan, you teleport with Chikara. In the it's a bit of a squeeze to get her in that. If you remember, the teleportation circle has like a sort of caging around it. It's a bit of a squeeze
I'm
to get
just
her and you
teleporting.
in. Oh! You're
Initially.
just teleporting initially, right?
The Northern
so
Sanctuary doesn't have a teleportation circle, does it?
It does, yes.
It does?
It does.
Okay, I'll just ritual cast to the teleportation circle then.
Alrighty. Is there any roll for that, or is it because it's a teleportation circle, you know it just works?
Because I know it.
Cool.
Dear.
Then I believe, yeah, permanent circle, 1 to 100. Yeah, done. So yeah, you teleport to the teleport there. You appear in the large castle, stone walls all around you. You walk through the things. Chikara, you can see, is already much happier, just moving around and maneuvering. I will say, actually, to get Chikara to the teleportation circle, you might need to do what you did before and polymorph her or reduce her in size somehow to get her to the circle. Oh no! Sorry, you're teleporting. Never mind, you can do that from where she was. So yeah, she's already much happier, moving about, and as you get out into the open air outside the castle, beautiful, lovely day in the north as well, and you're able to take in a deep breath of air. People are hard at work all around you, doing certain stuff.
When I get there, I'll leave a note with someone to just tell Albus that Gylndan's here, but tell him that I'll see him in a while, and I'll go take Chikara for a walk and then come back.
Okay, yeah, you spend a bit of time just taking her for a little walk. Up here in the north, there is a, you know, it's like a slight, like halfway between a jungle and a forest. Quite a nice area, a little river path that you can take him down. You see one other dragonborn walking along the same path. It's sort of near a river. He's trying to catch some fish. And yeah, it's a lovely walk, a nice breathe and break from the chaos of everything.
On the boat, this must be absolutely lush.
Yeah, this is really, really nice. It's a little bit weird, obviously, with the sort of ice roof above you, but there is like nice sun coming through. It's a nice breath of fresh air. Very, very nice. You eventually make it back, and as you make it back, you can see Albers and Dazra both waiting in the main courtyard near the fountain for you. Dazra is just sort of like sat, sort of splashing against some of the in some of the water. You can see he's very, very impatient. Albers is more stoically stood with his long staff, waiting for you. And Gylndan, you are returned. Where are the others? Are they all right?
Yes, they're on there. We're currently on our way to the Silverhold to take on Rash'ak.
Oh, you are growing quite a powerful wizard, teleporting here and there. Yes, sorry, my mind is getting foggier and foggier these days. What can I help you with? You requested my presence.
Yes, I feel the first time we met, you didn't tell us everything about your relationship with Rash'ak, and I feel, as we're going to risk our lives to defeat him, anything you can offer us as advice, any weakness, now's the time to tell me.
Make me a persuasion check.
Do I use my divination roll? No. It's not that high. Right. Oh, pray. This is no modifiers. Just pure luck. Not bad.
16. Okay. He sort of looks to you. You must understand, Gylndan, it is difficult to... I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So... Or maybe I'd be in a much better position if it wasn't for him. I have no idea. I know not his abilities now. But I know that in the height of his power, he did have some abilities akin to what I've seen and heard Dokramir do. He gained an affinity with Tiamat to the point where I guess one might consider him a cleric. I remember he did cure a wound or two, and I remember him in one battle. He summoned sort of spiritual guardians around him in an aura. And he had this ability to create a blast of fire all around him, a way to channel all of his divine power that he could build. It was wondrous. All of us looked upon him with awe, but also fright. It was quite frightening.
Okay.
In terms of weaknesses, I do not know. I know black dragons store their acidic venom in sort of sacs in their necks. If there was a way you could potentially expose something like that, but a dragon's scales are tough, very, very tough, as I'm sure you know. Exposing something like this might take a deal of damage, but if you were, it could make it harder for him to do, maybe painful even for him to do. But this does feel awful, Gylndan. Telling you how to kill my friend. My old friend.
I'd sympathise with you, but I've seen firsthand his work along the East Coast, and I have no sympathy for someone who can do that to people. Someone who can order that done to people. The cowardice to not even do it himself, just encourage people to do it.
If he's not
So it's
making...
with no remorse, I say that we will kill him in the next couple of days.
Well, you guardians do what you must. Just, if you do get the chance, before you have to dispatch him, maybe just tell him that I am sorry for how things ended. I should have killed him then, not allowed him to lead himself into this life, but there we go. If you'll excuse me, I need some time to think on things, unless there was anything else you needed me for.
You're giving me plenty.
Okay. Goodbye. And he very, very solemnly sort of begins to walk away. Dazza at this point just sort of waits for his dad to go and just goes, so I could like sneak away with you right now. We could teleport like right here, go.
No, this is not what Gylndan replied, so I've just immediately thought, there is no way I'm taking this giant dragon on a teleportation circle into the middle of a boat.
Red dragon as well, it breathes fire.
Yeah. No, what
he's
I'm
in
just
his
saying-
he's in his human form at the minute.
That's true, yes.
Well, dragonborn-esque form.
Yeah. I have a huge amount of respect for your father, and I will not challenge his decision. He doesn't want you to go. I won't disrespect that wish.
Fair enough. Then I will maybe say something that a red dragon has never said before. I'm off to go help farming, I guess. And in a huff, he heads down the road and just, and as you can see a cart sort of leaving off to one of the fields, and the thing is, wait up. You know what, fuck it. And you can see he burns into, you know, he erupts into flames, turns into his draconic form, leaps into the air, and swooshes overhead of the cart. And people in the cart sort of cheer as he flies by. Anything else in the north?
Nope. I think I will teleportation circle. I'll polymorph Chakar into a smaller creature.
Yeah.
And then just teleportation circle back.
Once you've teleported yourself back and you return back to the sort of downstairs and placing Chikara back where she was, you hear a voice in your head once again. I hear your group defeated Arctithorn. Moraine has trained you well. Tell me, how is she these days? This is the voice of Nasir in your mind with the sending spell. If you want to think of a 25-word answer, I can give you a second to do that. Otherwise, if you have one now, that works too.
Think of one for next session.
Okie dokie. And very quickly, Oramis, was there anything you wanted to achieve today?
Just trying to find out more information about my patron, if possible.
Alrighty. That is, if you give me a roll now, so I'm going to say roll me an investigation check.
Okay.
Depending what it is, I might have some information for you now. 10. It takes you pretty much all day to read through some more of the books. A lot of them are fairly boring. It's sort of old accounts, and maybe Aramis gets sort of caught up on some of the fight scenes and the battles and things that happen. Exciting things to read about, but nothing really that helps you with your patron. The only thing you do read, the only section you do read that maybe piques your interest and might prove further investigation is one bit where it reads about a battle someone was in, or a battle someone is about to go to, and then there is no entry after that until many pages later, blank pages later, where it simply reads, you know, whereas the previous thing was on the 23rd, this one's on like the 27th, and it reads, I've woken up. Weird being in this body. This curse is strange. There is no other notes in this particular book. And you read that just as you're yawning very late in the evening. You can potentially make another check next session to try and sort of follow up on this lead and see where that takes you. But that's pretty much it. Just as a very, very quick thing, Mazzy spends his day with his new, fascinated by his new ring that can summon arrows, learns a bit more about those. He also spends a lot of the day with the crew. If you remember, Mazzy did have an interest to learn how to sail a boat and how to do that stuff, so he spends a lot of the day as well doing that. Vaishal spends much of the day as a dolphin. In the morning, he wakes up, he takes off his poncho, he does a big stretch, and then he Olympic dives into the water, and then out of the water you see this tattooed dolphin, these bronzish tattoos over its body, just following the boat for most of the day. He disappears at one point. You can see instead he sort of comes up as a shark, disappears beneath the water for maybe half an hour, comes back up, and he suddenly just has a lot of fish. Just a bunch of fish in a small net that he seems to have. He's like, dinner is served. I don't know if those are poisonous or not. Maybe someone might want to check that. I don't know. And Ponsky spends a lot of the day, so the first morning of the day, reading up on all the notes he can of the Silverhold, trying to reacquaint himself with that. And then in the afternoon, he reads a book called The Halfling, A Completely Expected Journey, before finally towards the evening.
Dreadful.
Before finally towards the evening, he seems to ask you. Before finally towards the evening, he asks you, Oramis, about the ship's hold, the ship's sort of small prison, and does he think it'll be able to hold a werewolf, as tonight is meant to be a full moon, and he doesn't want to cause anyone any trouble. But with that said and done, that'll be the session, as we are about 15 minutes over. Thank you very, very much for joining me this week.
I just retcon that I would have handed over Oramis' letter to Angus. Completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
Luke, when
that's
you
fine.
said you wanted to learn more about your patron, I was just imagining Oramis walking around the ship, just sort of tapping on doorways and benches and the mast and stuff like that, and hello.
Are you in there?
Do you like a northeasterly breeze or a strong southerly one?
What kind of wax do you like on your deck?
That's what I was going to with oil. But yeah.
Nice. Right. Well, thank you very, very much for joining me this week. Congratulations on the puzzle. You never know. It might help you in the future. And the other puzzle, very puzzling. Was sort of hoping to make it to some exciting bits, but there we go. And you have some elves now randomly on your ship, just awaiting, and we'll see what happens with them in the next session.
Next session might be our 100th session.
Yes, it will.
Hey.
100th of campaign 2.
100th of campaign 2. We got to 100 of, like, in total ages ago. 100th of campaign 2. Wow.
In itself, if you think, how many was the first campaign?
20
the first campaign was 27, yeah.
So we've quintupled.
Yep.
Nuts.
Hot damn.
It might have reached 30.
What, the first one?
Yeah.
I've only got 16
no, I don't think
for the first
so.
one.
Yeah, I think it was something like 16. It was pretty quick. I remember you guys got from the first session to being, like, in the north in, like, 7 or 8 sessions.
God damn.
Because I didn't really do much travel stuff, because you guys were, like, I had travel stuff prepared, but you guys were like, nope, we are running away from Lazarus. We have the soul of a vampire running away, very far away. Yeah, that was good fun. Fun to think back towards all that.
Yeah, 100th session of campaign 2 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Not
fucking
tomorrow, next week.
wild,
Tomorrow, everyone on tomorrow.
bro. Yes. Well, yeah, should see you guys then next week for some more D&D. Any notes or anything, message me. Always intrigued to see what people think. And yeah,
You're right,
I'll see you guys next week.
Right, it wasn't even 20 past.
See you next week.
See?
Bye!
Bye.